One of the biggest fears people have when they begin recovering from compulsive eating or food addiction is this idea of restriction. People say things like, I don't want to restrict myself. I don't want to feel deprived. Isn't giving up sugar or carbs too extreme? And I understand that concern because in diet culture, restriction usually means something harsh, forced, temporary, but addiction recovery is something different, and it requires a shift in perspective. What are we actually giving up? If certain foods trigger compulsive eating patterns for you, the question becomes, what are those foods costing you? For some people, the thing that impacts their peace is real sugar. For others, even things like sweeteners, stevia, monk fruit, or erythritol. For some people, it might be pork rinds, nut flours, keto desserts, or certain snack foods that trigger overeating. Everyone's nervous system and brain chemistry is a little different. The goal is not to follow someone else's rules. The goal is to notice what keeps you stuck in compulsive patterns. Sometimes people intellectually know they feel better eating a certain way. Maybe that's lower carb, or maybe it's higher protein, or maybe removing ultra-processed foods. But then a thought appears. Isn't this too restrictive? Here's something interesting. Humans have eaten very different diets throughout history, and many of those populations thrived. Some cultures historically ate diets high in animal foods. Others ate diets higher in starch. Some communities ate very low carbohydrate diets for long periods of time, and people lived long, healthy lives in all these contexts. Our bodies are actually remarkably adaptable. And a quick note about protein and low carb, since that's what I tend to do. Research increasingly shows that adequate high protein intake, especially animal-derived protein, can support brain function and mental health. Animal proteins provide nutrients like vitamin B12, DHA, and other essential fatty acids, zinc, creatine, complete amino acids needed for neurotransmitter production. These nutrients help support systems involved in dopamine, serotonin, and brain energy metabolism. Many people in recovery notice improved mood stability, fewer cravings, and better satiety when their diet includes sufficient protein and healthy fats. And importantly, research does not show inherent harm in lower carbohydrate eating patterns when they are nutritionally adequate. Different dietary approaches can support health. So the real question becomes this: is it truly restriction to stop eating something that is hurting your life? Or is it something else? Because addiction has a way of taking everything: time, energy, self-trust, mental clarity, peace. Recovery asks us to relinquish the foods or substances or behaviors that keep us trapped in that cycle. And in return, we often get our life back. So I invite you to consider a shift in perspective. What if giving up those foods is not deprivation? What if it's liberation? Instead of saying, I shouldn't have sugar, what if the language becomes, I don't eat sugar? Or even, I'm liberated from sugar. Language matters. There is a big difference between I can't or I shouldn't and I choose not to. The first options feel disempowering. The other, I choose not to, feels grounded and intentional. Recovery isn't about someone telling you what you should or shouldn't eat. It's about becoming honest with yourself with clarity and compassion. What foods support your well-being? What foods keep you locked in compulsive patterns? And what choice would bring you more peace into your life? Your answers might evolve over time. That's okay. Recovery allows room for learning and adjustment. But the key is that the decision becomes yours. So if you're navigating recovery from loss of control eating, such as sugar addiction, binge eating, or ultra-processed food use disorder, and you're feeling worried about restriction, I invite you to ask yourself a different question. Are you restricting yourself, or are you liberating yourself? Sometimes letting go of the foods that harm us is not about losing something. It's about gaining freedom. And that shift in perspective can make all the difference. If this video was helpful, can you please do me a favor and like this video, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share this with a friend who you think might benefit from this video. I also have a free newsletter at beyondbingeeating.com/newsletter, where I share things regarding recovery. So if you're into recovery, then check that out. That's it for today, my friends. Until next time.